everyone, thank you for joining me on this foodoffensive.com weekly video broadcast. This is in addition to what I normally do. Usually try to put it out on Mondays, Monday evenings, but this is in addition to what I would normally do. I really had the desire to continue what I'm doing and also up it a little bit, and that's just the fact that these special reports that I normally do cover food only, and obviously that's what Food Offensive is all about, from the front lines of our food supply, what we put in our food. But also I wanted to go into Fukushima and cover that every week. Like, there's so much going on about Fukushima that there's enough to cover every single week. So maybe try to do kind of like a midweek Fukushima update as well, and it's going to be a little simpler than I normally would do for my special reports. There might be less graphics. There might just be one document that I'm featuring, and currently my document cam idea isn't working out too well. You might have seen in my other videos, but I'm going to attempt to just look here at this article. It's from Natural News, and there's a new thing coming out, and there's no better way to start this Fukushima update little thing that I'm doing every week than by covering this particular article and covering this particular thing that's coming down the line, and it's titled Plume-Gate. So there have been secret documents released that prove global cover-up of continued Fukushima radiation pollution. Now, we're well beyond the time that, well beyond a year anniversary of the Fukushima disaster and that whole catastrophe that happened over there. And if you haven't seen it yet, I do have a video about Fukushima. It's called Fukushima 1 Year Later, the Future of Food and Health in Japan, I think is what I titled it. And that actually has the most views of any video on this YouTube channel. So I would check that out. And it's a little long, but it covers, it has some footage from the disaster. And then I cover strictly food in that video about the effects of food on Japan and on the world because of that. It's not just Japan that's being affected. And I care a lot about Japan after living there, but also my desire too is not only for the Japanese people but for the whole world, because this is an issue that's going to cause a worldwide effect that we have already seen. It's undeniable, the effects that we've seen in other parts of the U.S. just because of that incident. So I want to go on and read this article here to keep it short. It says, this is from naturalnews.com, it says, a Freedom of Information Act, or FOIA, request filed by Friends of the Earth, Decisions of Social Responsibility, and the Nuclear Information and Resource Center has unearthed a shocking series of new evidence proving a deliberate global cover-up of the true severity of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster. And the unfortunate reality is that the mainstream media continues to blatantly ignore this colossal scandal. Now, it has that particular quote there at the end, actually in bold. The mainstream media continues to blatantly ignore this colossal scandal. Of course, they probably covered it a little bit. They probably covered it a little bit at the time of the disaster and shortly after, but we tend to soon forget things. The media goes on to other stories. There are pressing things going on all the time. I understand that, but not to stick up for the mainstream media. They have really dropped the ball on this one in getting the real truth out there. There have been private emails, meeting transcripts, and other key documents that reveal both the Obama White House and the United States Nuclear Regulatory Commission were well aware of just how bad things really were with Fukushima in the early days of the disaster, but did nothing to warn the public about it. In fact, as I mentioned in my Fukushima video that I did, the first one, the fact that the FDA just answers the whole Fukushima disaster and the higher levels of radiation by just answering that problem by just raising the safe levels here in America. I mean, there's just something wrong with that, and I don't know why anyone doesn't know that, can't see the bigger picture here and what's going on. But Plume-Gate is the world's biggest nuclear cover-up to date. So the cover-up of this material, it goes on to say that there's this massive cover-up of critical information about Fukushima could have saved thousands of lives, including the more than 14,000 individuals, many of whom were babies, that died in the weeks following disaster. And there's a link to that article, Fukushima USA Fatalities, and experts have linked it to that because there was just a huge influx at that time, about shortly after the disaster. So that's a huge deal, and that's what I wanted to bring up here. I'm just checking the article to see if there's any other issues here we need to look at. The intelhub.com is the organization that released this information. So you can go to the intelhub.com and see, you can see the information there. But it's really what I wanted to do, and just cover this every week, cover a little bit of something, people that are out there, like the Fukushima-Diary.com that I referred to in my other videos, and others. They're doing this almost, I know for sure the Fukushima Diary, they're doing that full time. This gentleman, he's doing it full time and getting this information out there. And there's something new every day. There's mutated vegetables. There's various health problems that come up and various health things that come up. So it's very important that we keep this at the forefront and do what we can to get the word out to at least those that watch my videos. I would very much appreciate if you are seeing this right now and you normally watch, if you're a subscriber or otherwise you just came across this video somehow, that you would pass it on to someone else if you agree with the information and with what I've laid out here. So look forward to more of these every week. A little bit simpler, a little shorter than my normal videos, but in the interest of time and the interest of those watching, the short, whether it's a short attention span or a short time frame that you have to deal with, a free time. Hopefully this gets the information out there. But until next time, this is foodoffensive.com coming at you from the front lines of our food supply. Thank you for joining me.